What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to scrape a YouTube video's comments, analyze the comments, and then suggest improvements to the original content by creating a simple workflow in Anytime. Let's get started. We're going to add the first step. The first step that we're going to add is a trigger over here. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is, since we would like to scrape comments from a YouTube video, I'm going to select a video randomly from the channel. For example, you can pick this video on how to easily scrape LinkedIn jobs using Anytime. So here, I'll copy the link of this video, and how to scrape the comments of this video, I'm going to use this tool called Apify. Apify, it's an incredible tool that you can use to scrape any website and automate projects. So to get 30% off your first subscription of this tool, just click the link down below in the description. Then go ahead and create an account in Apify. And after creating an account in Apify, head over to Apify store. Here, we're going to search for the website that we'd like to scrape. In our case, we'd like to scrape YouTube. So I'll search for YouTube comments scraper. Click on search. And here you can see hundreds of tools that you can use to scrape comments from YouTube. I'm going to use this tool right here, so I'll open it on a new tab. This is a tool that we're going to use to scrape comments from a YouTube video. So all you have to do is add the video URL right here. So I'll paste the link of the video that we just copied. And then here we're going to add the number of comments that we'd like to scrape. For example, you can try to scrape 7 comments. We can also sort the comments either by top comment or the newest first. I'm going to choose newest first, and then I'll click on save and start to scrape comments from our video. Here you can see that our tool is getting our data. Let's give it a second for it to scrape the comments from our video. You can see that our tool succeeded in scraping the comments from our video. Here we're getting the author of the comment, comments count, page URL, reply count, the title of the video, the comment, the video ID, and the likes count. To grab these comments that we just scrape right here to our workflow over here, I'll click on API on the right, then I'll scroll where it says get dataset items, then I'll copy this link, then I'll go back to our workflow right here and search for the HTTP request node right here. And then I'll paste the URL that we just copied right here and click on execute step. And now you can see that we're getting our comments that we just scraped from our video over here. Now, instead of having to manually scrape using our tool over here and grabbing the dataset ID, coming and pasting it right here and executing the step, we can scrape automatically using our tool right here. So to do that, here, I'll clear this URL, and then I'll open Apify's documentation. Then I'll scroll to find the API that we like to call. Then I'll click on run after synchronously with input and get dataset item. Then here, I'll copy this URL. Then I'll go back to our workflow. Then I'll click on import URL and paste our URL right here. Then click on import. Here, we're going to add 3 items. The first item that we're going to add is the actor ID. Then the second one will be the API token. And the third will be our JSON right here. To add our actor ID, I'll go back to our tool and click on our tool right here. And then I'll grab the actor ID of this tool from the search URL. Remember, the actor ID is in the search URL. Then I'll go back to our workflow and add our actor ID over here. The next thing that we'll add is the API token right here. To get the API token, I'll click on settings in Apify, then click on API and integration. Here, you'll need to create a new token, and then give it a description right here, then click on create to create your token. Since I had already created my token, I'm going to copy it, and then I'll paste our token right here. And then the last thing that we're going to add is our JSON right here. So when specify body, I'm going to click on using JSON, and then we'll add our JSON right here. To get our JSON, I'll go back to our tool, then where it says manual in JSON, click on JSON. And then here, I'll copy this JSON. So I'll copy it, and then I'll go back to our node and paste our JSON right here. So we like to scrape 10 comments from this video over here. So to do that, I'll click on execute step to scrape the comments right here in our workflow. Yeah, you can see that our node was executed successfully, and we got our comments right here, the one that we just scraped using our node over here. This is incredible. So our node works perfectly. So here I'll click on back to canvas, and here I'll rename this node to comments, YouTube comments scraper. Then here I'll click on rename. Now here you can see we are manually adding our video in this node right here. So instead of having to manually come and paste the video URL right here, We can add the YouTube video URL to a spreadsheet and then map the video URL to our node right here. In Google Sheet, I've created a spreadsheet that I've renamed to YouTube video comments spreadsheet. I've created a sheet that I've renamed to YouTube videos, and here is where we're going to add our YouTube video links. So here I've pasted the link to the video that we're scraping in the comments. So our video was how to easily scrape LinkedIn jobs. To get the URL of the video, here I'll search for Google Sheet, click on Google Sheets, then I'll click on Get Rows in Sheet node. Here you need to create a new credential right here to connect your Google Sheet to it by clicking on Sign in with Google. Then on the new window that pops up, choose the account that you like to connect to anytime. And then after creating your credential, close it right here. Then here we're going to find our spreadsheet. It should be this spreadsheet right here. Select our sheet, it should be the YouTube video sheet. And then here I'll execute step to grab our video link, which is this video link right here. And then we can connect it to our node right here. And then I'll open this node right here to map our video link right here. So I'll click on expression, expand it right here. Then which says URL, map the video URL right here. Then I'll click on back to canvas. And then here I'll rename this to YouTube video link. And then here I'll click on rename. Here I can rename this to YouTube video comment scraper. And I'll click on rename. So now let us test our workflow and see how it works. So I'll click on execute workflow to test it. You can see that our workflow was executed successfully. Here we're grabbing the YouTube video link that we pasted in our spreadsheet right here. Then we are scraping comments from the video using this Apify tool right here. And now here I'll click on back to canvas. And now we can proceed to classify the comments. But first of all, we can wait for a few seconds right here. So I'll search for the wait node. And we're going to wait, let's say 5 seconds. Click on back to canvas. I'll rename this to wait 5 seconds. Then here I'll click on rename. And now we can proceed to classify the comments using a text classifier. So here I'll search for text classifier and click on the node right here. Now here I'll execute this node and then set up our text classifier over here. Yeah, we can pin these data that we scraped using Apify right here to set up our workflow. After waiting for a few seconds, we can set up our text classifier node. So I'll open this node. Yeah, we're going to add the text that we'd like to classify. Text that we'd like to classify will be the comments that we scraped using Apify. Then here we're going to add categories. The first category, we'd like to classify our comments either by positive or negative comment. So here I'll add the first category as positive, and I'll also add another category as negative. And then here we can add the description for both categories. We'll add the description for the positive category. I'll click on expression and expand it right here. Add the description for the positive category, which could be on the lines of a comment that expresses approval, satisfaction, support, gratitude, or enthusiasm. It reflects a favorable sentiment towards the product, service, content, or experience. And then here we're outlining a couple of examples, like I love this was super helpful, thank you, great job, keep it up. And here I'll click on back to canvas and add the description for the negative category. To add the description for the negative category, I'll click on expression, expand it right here to add the description. The description could be on the lines of a comment that conveys criticism, dissatisfaction, frustration, disappointment, or disapproval. It reflects unfavorable sentiment towards the product, service, content, or experience. And here we're outlining a couple of examples, like this doesn't work at all, I'm really disappointed with this, or waste of time. And here I'll click on back to canvas. Here we can add it. And after I add the system prompt template right here. And then here I'll click on execute step to categorize comments. You can see we did not connect a model. So for the model, here we're going to choose OpenAI as the model. Then here you'll also need to create a connection between your OpenAI and N8N. Clicking on create a new credential, then from your OpenAI API, add your API key right here, then click on save to create credential. Since I had already created my credential, I'm going to close this, choose my credential right here, and for the model, and then choose the model. For the model, we're going to use GPT 4.1 mini, and here I'll click on back to canvas. Here I'll open this node and then click on execute step to classify our comments. Here you can see we classified our comments right here. So for the positive branch, we added 3 comments right here, and then for the negative branch, we added 2 comments over here. So our node works perfectly and it's classifying our comments. Next thing we're going to do here is we're going to set a variable for each of our comments. To set a variable, I'm going to search for the edit fields node over here. Then here, I'm going to call this positive comment. And then add the value right here to the positive comments. To be the comment over here. I'll drag it over here. And then here, I rename this to positive. And click on rename. And we can do the same with negative. So I'll duplicate this node right here. And then we can rename this to negative. Then click on rename right here. Then I'll open this node. And then here, we can rename this to negative. Then here I'll click on back to canvas. Yeah. Here I'll open this node. You can rename this to positive. And right here. So we can execute this node. And then execute this node right here. So we're setting the variable for each of the comments that we're getting right here. Can be the positive or negative. Right here. Now, the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to analyze the comments. So we can try by analyzing the positive comments first. To analyze the comments, I'm going to use an AI agent. So on AI, I'm going to click on AI agent. Find below and add the prompt for this agent right here. So the prompt could be in the lines of you're an expert content strategist. And here I'll add an option to add our system message. To add our system message, I'll click on expression, then expand it right here to add our system message. Then the system message could be in the lines of analyze the following positive comments and summarize what aspects of the content resonated most with the audience. Focus on identifying specific themes, tones, or content elements that people appreciated. Also suggest 2 to 3 ideas on how to double down on these winning elements in future posts. And here we're adding the positive comment. It should be this comment that we set right here. And then here we're also outlining an example output for context. So here we're outlining what resonated with the audience and giving a couple of reasons right here. We're also outlining suggestions for future posts over here. And so here I'll click on back to canvas, and here we're going to require a specific output format. And then here I'll click on output parser, and then I'll click on structured output parser node right here. And then we're going to add our JSON over here for output. I'm going to add this JSON right here and output what resonated with the audience and future post suggestions right here. So here I'll click on back to canvas right here. For the chart model, we can use the same chart model right here. So we're going to use OpenAI chart model over here. We can also use another tool. We can use the think tool right here. So I'll click on think tool over here. Come back to canvas. Now here I'll rename this output parser node to positive comment structured output. And here I'll click on rename. And then here I'll also rename this agent to positive comment summary agent and click on rename over here. So here I'll open this node. Then I'll click on execute step to analyze and summarize our positive comment. You can see it's executing our node. Let's give it a second. You can see that our node was executed successfully. We analyzed and summarized our comments. Then we also outputted what resonated with the audience and future post suggestions for 3 comments right here. This is incredible. So our agent works perfectly. We can do the same with the negative comments. So we can analyze them using an AI agent. So I'll duplicate this node right here. Rename it to negative comment summary agent. Then click on rename right here. Chart model, we're going to use this chart model right here. For the tool, you can use the think tool right here. And then here, I'll open this node right here. And back to canvas, so we can execute our previous node right here. And now we can set up our negative agents prompt. So the prompt could be on the lines of you're a content and product feedback analyst. And here we're going to add our system message. Click on I'll expand it right here and clear this previous message right here. And then the system message for AI agent could be on the lines of review the following negative comment and return a structured JSON object with 2 fields. Field is the issues raised, where we are listing main problems, complaints, or pain points mentioned in the comment. The second one is improvement suggestions, where we are listing actionable ideas to improve the original content and address negative feedback. We're also telling the agent to only respond with the valid JSON object and no extra explanation. And here we're adding our negative comments. We're dragging the negative comment right here. And here I'll click on back to canvas. Over here, to output a structured output right here. So I'll click on the structured output parser. I'll clear these over here and add our JSON right here to output the issues raised and the improvement suggestions right here. So I'll add this JSON right here. Click on back to canvas. You can add it over here. Over here. Here in our node, I'm going to rename this to negative comment structured output right here to separate the two output parsers. Here in this node, I'll open it and then I'll click on execute step to analyze the comments and suggest for us improvements. Here you can see that our node was executed successfully. Here we outputted issues raised from the comment and improvement suggestions over here for future videos for the two negative comments that we got from our video. So here I'll click on back. Now that our agents are working perfectly and we're getting the right outputs, we can proceed to add the results to a Google Spreadsheet. In our Google Spreadsheet, I've created another sheet that I've renamed to positive comments and negative comments right here. For the positive comments, I've added the YouTube video link column, positive comment column, what resonated column, and the future post suggestions column. And for the negative comments, we added the YouTube video link column, negative comment column, issues raised column, and improvement suggestions column. So now to add the results that we generated using our workflow to this spreadsheet over here, I'll go back to our workflow and we can start with the positive comment over here. For the first we can execute our previous node. Okay, just execute our AI agent over here. So we can get the results and add the results to a spreadsheet. You can see our node was executed successfully. Right here, so now when I open this node, you can see we're getting what resonated with the audience and future post suggestions. So here we can proceed to add the results to our Google Spreadsheet. So I'll search for Google Sheets and click on Google Sheets, and here I'll click on append row in sheet. Here we're going to choose our document. This is a document right here. And then for the sheet, we're going to choose a positive comments sheet. Here we're going to add values to our columns in our spreadsheet with the data that we got from our agent. So for the YouTube video link, we're going to grab the YouTube video link from our spreadsheet right here. Then we're going to drag the positive comment. So the comment will be the comment that we scraped using our tool over here. Then here we're going to add what resonated with the audience. And we're also going to drag the future post suggestions over here. And now to add the results to our spreadsheet, I'll click on execute step over here. You can see we added our results to our spreadsheet over here. When I open our spreadsheet, you can see we added our results over here. You can choose a different font like Montserrat over here. So we added the YouTube video link, positive comments over here, what resonated with the audience over here, and future post suggestions over here. This is incredible. So we can do the same with the negative comment. So here, you can rename this to positive comments. Then click on rename right here. And we can do the same with the negative comments. So to do that here, let's execute this node first. And then execute our AI agent over here. You can see our node was executed successfully over here. When I open this node, we're getting the issues raised and improvement suggestions as a result. Now we can add those results to a spreadsheet. So here, I'll search for Google Sheets. Click on Google Sheets. Then here, I'll click on append row in sheet. And here we're going to find our document, which is this document right here. And the sheet I would like to add our results is the negative comment sheet. And here we're going to add values to our columns in our spreadsheet. So for the YouTube video link, we're going to grab the YouTube video link from our spreadsheet right here. And the negative comment, we're going to grab it from Apify over here. The issues raised, we're going to grab the issues raised from our agent. Same with the improvement suggestions. Then to add the results to our spreadsheet, I'll click on execute step over here. You can see our node was executed successfully and we added the negative comments to our spreadsheet. So here I'll click on back to canvas and we can rename this to negative comments. And here I'll click on rename. Over here, when I open our negative comment sheet, you can see we added our results over here. We added the YouTube video link, the negative comments, the issues raised over here, and the improvement suggestions over here using our workflow over here. So our workflow works perfectly. Since our workflow works perfectly, we can try testing it so we can see how our workflow works. So here, I'll unpin this data, and then I'll clear our spreadsheets over here. So I'll delete the rows and also delete the rows for the positive comments sheet over here. The only thing we're going to leave is the video over here. We're going to assume that we just pasted this video over here. Then I'll click on back to canvas, and then I'll go back to our workflow, and then I'll click on execute to workflow to test our workflow. Here, you can see that our workflow was executed successfully. So here, we are grabbing a YouTube video link that would like to scrape its comments. So we added the video link to a sheet in our spreadsheet right here. And this is a video link that we're grabbing using this node right here. Then we are scraping the comments of the video using this tool in Apify. Then we're waiting a few seconds and then classifying the comments by either positive or negative comments. And we are analyzing and summarizing the comments using this AI agent over here and outputting what resonated with the audience and future post suggestions for the positive comments. Then we are adding the comments to our spreadsheet right here, including what resonated with the audience and suggestion for future posts. Now, we're also analyzing the negative comments using this AI agent right here and outputting the issues raised and improvement suggestions from the comments right here. Then we're adding the negative comment, issues raised, and future post suggestions to our spreadsheet right here. Here's where we're adding the video that we like to scrape the comments so we can analyze the comments. Then on the positive comments, here's where we're adding the positive comments. Here we're adding the YouTube video link, the positive comments, what resonated with the audience, the future post suggestions over here. This is incredible. Now, for the negative comments, we're also adding the YouTube video link, the negative comments, issues raised, and improvement suggestions over here. So we're adding the positive comments with the summaries and the negative comments with the summaries using the simple workflow that we created right here in N8N. Thank you for watching. Now, if you have a workflow or an AI agent that you'd like for me to create using N8N, just comment down below in the comment section. I read all the comments, and if I land on your comment and I find it intriguing, I'll come back on a future video showing you how to create the entire workflow or AI agent from scratch using N8N. But for now, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.